up as a kid, I can remember that my sister and I would always walk down to the neighborhood pool on those long, hot summer nights. I'd get there, and immediately the first thing I'd do is I'd dunk my hand in that cold water to make sure it was the right temperature. Then I'd run on over to the diving board, hopefully without getting caught by the lifeguard. And then I'd crawl on the edge, and I'd inch my way out, and a moment of hesitation sets in. Oh my goodness, what am I going to do? Am I going to stay up here in my comfort zone? Or am I going to jump off and have fun in the water? You see, eventually, I would take the opportunity to jump in with a huge splash. Every opportunity in front of you is just like standing on the edge of that diving board. So let's close our eyes and imagine it. We're crawling up the ladder. We get there. Our hands are gripping the rail. We're gripping the rail really tight. And we inch our way out. And then there's a moment of fear. If you're anything like me, you might be scared. You might be scared of belly flopping. You might even be scared of heights. You might even be scared of just the wind. We're in Wyoming, for Pete's sake. But if you dig a little bit deeper behind those goals, or those fears, you can find some goals. Goals like cooling off in the water. Maybe, if you're lucky, you can get to do a really cool trick and impress that cute girl sitting right there on the edge of the pool. You can open your eyes now. Every decision in front of you is just like standing on the edge of that diving board. And the choice is yours. You can either jump in with everything you have, or we can stay up here in our comfort zone. Let's talk about somebody who jumped in with everything that they had, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. And if you're from Wyoming, you might be thinking Josh Allen. But if you're a little bit older, you might be thinking Tim Tebow. My mind tends to lean towards the obvious answer of Tom Brady, right? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You see, when Tom Brady was drafted to the New England Patriots, he was the 199th pick. And he didn't start out as their backup quarterback. He wasn't their starting quarterback even. He wasn't even the third-string quarterback. No, he was the fourth-string quarterback. And every time they practiced with the team, he only got 2 throws. So how do you go from that to being a 7-time Super Bowl champion? What was his attitude? Because he knew that those 2 throws that he got needed to be the best 2 throws of his entire life. We're talking Super Bowl, Hail Mary, to win the game throws. That's the attitude he had, and that's the attitude that we should all have when an opportunity presents itself. Now let's talk a little bit more about attitudes, right? We've got positive attitudes, productive attitudes, non-productive attitudes, negative attitudes. And one of those, being my personal favorite, is positive attitudes. Most of us are in a positive attitude when we're loved, right? But I'm not talking about the Romeo and Juliet kind of love. No. I'm talking about the real, deep down, feel it in your bones kind of love. The kind of love that's unconditional. The love that you get from a father after you come home from a test and he says, "It's okay, son, I still love you." That's the kind of love that puts me in a positive attitude. And I'm sure you guys feel the same. Now, one of the most positive people that I can think of is a kid named John Sandrini. When I first met John at the Wyoming FFA Leadership Camp, I remember him being pretty quiet. But as the week went on, I remember Friday morning, John and I, we went on a hike and we're walking, and we decided, hey man, let's sit down on a log. And I said, John, let's do a boot check. How's things going? John looks down at his boots, and then he looks back at me and he says, well, Colton, they're on and in mostly one piece. And I couldn't do anything but chuckle at his optimism. But folks, behind that optimism was a kid who just needed a little bit of love. We don't know what John was going through that week, but he had a lot of weight on his heart. And John explained that taking the time to ask those simple questions saved his life. And it saved a lot of people a lot of heartbreak. That's the kind of love that I'm talking about. That is the kind of love that when received makes you think, and it makes you believe deep down that I too deserve life. So how many of you guys are sitting out there right now and you know somebody who could use just a little bit of love? I know I am. And if so, what is stopping us from having those conversations? Are we scared? Is it an uncomfortable situation? Is it simply just too high of a risk? Because the people John was surrounded with chose to take the opportunity to ask him a few questions that week, they changed his trajectory. See, when you combine having the attitude to look for those opportunities, and you take them, and then you love somebody even just a little bit, you get the chance to save the lives of those around you. That's the kind of love that I'm talking about, you guys. So Wyoming FFA, the next time you find yourself at the edge of those opportunities, don't look back. Jump in with everything you have and take the chance and take the opportunity to love someone.